Hello, Crystal Palace, and welcome to the Upper Norwood Library Hub's Library Live Lunch. This is a place to share positive and local information and find out about the wonderful community in greater depth and try to keep us all connected during this time. Let me say hello to Rebecca Sheridan, Richard Williams, Jane James, and Simon Lambert, who are all joining us today. But let me also say hello to Marcus Chidgey, who is the founder of Palace app and our guest today. Hello, Marcus.
Hi, Kat. Nice to be with you.
How are you?
I'm really good, actually. Yeah, really well, thanks. Just recovering from Crystal Palace Festival Live over the weekend, and yeah, back into it now and getting Palace up and going.
So, Marcus, tell me what it is you do for Crystal Palace with the app.
So what we're looking to do is find a new way to help residents engage with all the issues that are going on in Crystal Palace. And the idea, the backdrop to it is that I think less and less people are reading newspapers, certainly in the way that they used to do. And there's a lot more information out there now that people need to know about, everything from planning through to events, through to little bits of news here and there, the good stuff as well as the bad stuff. And through the app, what we're trying to do is kind of bring a place to aggregate all of that information to make sure the right bits of information are recommended to you so that you feel connected to Crystal Palace and you've got all the right information you need.
I feel like in this day and age, yeah, you need apps, you need things to be online to actually be able to connect with people. Books and newspapers will be a thing of the past. What made you want to start with the app? What was the driving force?
Yeah, so in my old company, we started working. We were doing kind of digital work for national government. We did stuff for kids in social care, which was quite challenging. We did work for local government, which was around, again, kind of making information relevant to local people. And I just saw a model there that was kind of coming through that wasn't really totally an app. Yes, it is an app for people to download and residents to download. But on the other side of the app, we've got a login area for businesses to log in so they can kind of manage their own account. And we've also got an area for town managers to kind of look at what's going on. So all of those kind of key people, community groups, kind of town groups that kind of look after how Crystal Palace might develop kind of from this point forward might be able to find some really useful statistics and information that will help us kind of bind together and kind of progress as a community.
And that's important to be able to link businesses together as well as the community, because from the bottom up, that's how you kind of want things to be able to grow. Is this the ethos behind your work? Like, what's the is
Yeah,
there
what's the kind of driving force for me is that it seems to be, everything's loaded, I guess, in the favour of these big multinationals at the moment. And so we look at, the likes of big players like Amazon and so on, and you kind of look and say, right, well, how are local businesses going to compete? If you just look at local businesses alone, and if we don't sustain those businesses, the whole kind of character of Crystal Palace is going to change, in itself, and it could do quite quickly. And so through technology, what we're hoping to do is kind of all the data that's contained in Palace app is kind of retained for the community. It's one installation. It's not like Facebook where it's going to go everywhere. It's just in one place. Secondly, we can kind of change how it works ourselves to make sure it kind of reflects what we need as a community. So that's the next thing. And then secondly, we can start looking at really kind of cool stuff. I would say cool because I'm a techie, right? So, but the cool stuff for me is how we can look at new technology to level the playing field. And so a good example of that is, if you've seen all the kind of digital billboards that are going up around kind of, well, there's some in West Norwood, there's some kind of local to Crystal Palace. And we'll see more and more of those. And at the moment, only the likes of, major brands can afford to advertise on there. But why can't the local cafe advertise on that billboard for a cut rate? Why can't we do that? And also then kind of look at, why don't we advertise on there when people are actually walking past? So we can use the kind of app to trigger experiences off the app itself onto things like digital billboards and so on. So there's some really clever stuff we can do with technology now, and we're at that point, I think, with Palace App, where we've got the app, and now what we're trying to do is integrate all the kind of cooler stuff, which will hopefully be stuff like air pollution monitors, digital billboard integration, and lots of other stuff that can really help the community.
That sounds so futuristic. It's funny because a lot of technology like that, you kind of, well, in my head anyway, you think about it as something that happens in like central London and like Canary Wharf and like these kind of business and tech hubs. So being able to bring it to like a localized level, it is kind of the next step. Is this a thought that came, like, when did it all start? Yeah.
It started about 3 or 4 years ago, and I've always been interested in technology. So again, at my old company, we had a tech team, and we were building all these things I was telling you about for government. But my first job was actually as at Apple, funnily enough. When I got straight out of came out of university, and I worked on the iPod launch, so quite some time ago. And I'd always been interested in tech, learned how to build websites and so on. But really, kind of the everything clicked for me when I started seeing, how we had the Facebook, we had these kind of big multinationals that have become very, successful. But the thing that's clicked for me recently is that there's a whole kind of movement which is around smart cities at the moment. And we were fortunate enough to go on a couple of trade missions with Innovate. So I went out to Australia, which the government kindly paid for. Ended up in China, of all places, as well, which the government kind of kindly paid for. But I also did a lot of work out in the States of my own volition, just looking at all the latest trends, all of the latest technology. And I thought, the best thing we could do is best thing I could do is actually make it work where I lived. And then if we can make it work here and people are on board with it and like it and agree with it, then, hopefully we can then take it from Crystal Palace and kind of sow that seed in other places as well.
It's first smart borough, first smart township. Let me just say hello to Debbie, Charlotte, Janelle, Jazz, and Rachel, who have all joined us. Has anything, Marcus, has lockdown affected your kind of trail of thought, the processes that go into developing this app and planting those seeds? Because I know a lot of people have used the time maybe like creatively to kind of think about the future and where they want things to go. Have you been planting those seeds?
I mean, obviously lots of people have been, I think, using the time to read up on various things. I mean, for us, we had hoped to launch the app a bit earlier, but the app is about kind of driving people into Crystal Palace and people kind of using location to kind of make a difference to the community as well. So for the businesses, they need footfall into the shops to buy stuff. So a lot of what we do on the app, so for example, we're able to recognize the weather, and therefore we can recommend you a place to go. We can also recognize where you are if you allow us to do that, and we can recommend a place for you to go. So all the places are kind of done on distances. We can give you directions. It's quite, hopefully, it's fairly intelligent as to the way it's working. But moreover, what we're trying to do is just kind of present that information in a way which is different to Facebook. I know, we've got Crystal Palace Local, which is an awesome resource. But I guess what we're trying to do is not kind of compete with that, but is to hold that information in a different way so it's structured and people can find it and be recommended it.
And it's a different way of giving out information. It's like a leading point, it's a director as well. Because I can't think of anywhere else that I know that a localized place has an app for that. There's obviously things that are like for general London and like specific like vegan cafe things, like things that direct you in that sense. Was it inspired by anything else, or is this a you idea?
I guess it's trying to project forward and think, well, where is this all going? We've got apps for all sorts of different things, and I think it comes to a point where you're kind of apped out, and but you do need something for your local area. And so what we've tried to do with Crystal Palace is Palace app and the software itself is try and put a lot of different functionality in there. So yes, we're publishing information, but we've also got a survey tool on there which town managers can use. We've also got a reporting tool which enables you to take a photo and then report an issue back. So it could be a pothole or whatever it might be. And then what we're also trying to do is then look at the things at how we can connect with other data sources. So in time, we're hoping at doing things like localized crime reports for your area. So if there has been an issue, for example, there might be, I don't know, I've noticed the spate of catalytic converters being stolen from cars at the moment. Then at least what we can do is let people know that's happened, so that in their own road or neighbourhood, they can take steps to prevent that happening to them. So it's really, there's that, there's planning as well, which people enjoy, kind of, I would say enjoy, but want to know about, in terms of how the town's changing for them, and we're looking to do that as well. So it's about taking kind of where you are, where you live, what you do, making that information really super relevant to you, and then hopefully that makes you kind of want to engage with it more, rather than trying to go out there and have to find it yourself, and therefore you'll take kind of more ownership and I guess participate more in the community.
Which has been a kind of aim for a lot of people, I think, over lockdown, is realising you kind of need the community around you. I know we were talking to Carol the other day, who was doing the photo project, and she was saying how, now she knows her neighbours, whereas before she only knew a handful. And I feel like apps like this are a great way to enable that. It all sounds very positive, but were there any challenges that you faced while creating this?
Yeah, I mean, there's always challenges. One was, when you start up a business like this, it's been kind of a 3-year process. So we'd had to raise some money. So that's the first thing we've had to do. And then the second thing is then persuading people that your business model's right. So when it's completely new, how does it work? What's different about it? And so on. Because when you say it's a local app, just those words in itself don't really sell it. You need to kind of talk more about how it's going to work. But there's been a lot of technical issues as well, and new things that we're probably doing technically that again haven't been done before in quite the same way that we're doing it. So, but we've got over that. We've tried it. We tried things that worked and didn't work. We actually did a pilot last year, and people might remember Palace app from literally this time last year, where we did a beta test of kind of how it was working. We got a lot of feedback from people. We did some workshops at the time. And realised actually there were some elements of it that we needed to take back and kind of go back to the drawing board a little bit again. So we've really taken people's kind of feedback on board as well, and hopefully now we're launching. What we're trying to do is engage with people and kind of take their thoughts on board as we go forward. So nothing is totally defined. We've got an idea of the direction, but really we want to kind of make it something that works for everyone. So as much feedback and as much engagement with it as possible would be great.
Can you tell the people who are watching, how they would be able to access the app?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, you literally go onto the Apple App Store or Google Play Store, type in Palace app, all one word, and it will be up there. And you just download it. Obviously, it's free. Download it onto your phone. You then sign up. There's a sign-up process, as you'd expect. And then, start using the app. And hopefully have a look around it, see kind of the information that you like. But I guess one of the big things at the moment that's present on the app are things like business offers. So a couple of businesses have already signed up. There's 5 in total, kind of providing offers, and some really good offers there. So take advantage of them. But what we're hoping to do now the app's live and everyone can see it, and the main platform's live for businesses. We're trying to get more businesses on board. It's free for businesses as well. We've got it free for a year, and then we're going to figure out what to do. In terms of trying to get some we're paying for everything at the moment. No one's paid for this. This is from us to Crystal Palace at the moment. At some point, then we're looking at, right, well, how can we make this sustainable? One of the ideas then is, if it is working for businesses, is then to have a business subscription, so a really small one, like £5 a month or something, and hopefully that'll bring them a lot more than £5 revenue. So and if we can do that, then brilliant. So and that's the way we're hoping to kind of make it kind of pay for itself long term.
What has been your approach to people? Have you, because it's hard in lockdown, it's not like you can just go into the shops and be like, hi, so this is what's been happening for the past 3 years, do you want to get involved? Is it just like a lot of emails and Zoom calls like this?
I've done a couple of rounds of the triangle, I'll be honest. People have seen me kind of walking around, kind of going, hi, can I speak to you about Palace app? So I've gone into a lot of the shops on the triangle, just to get the first people involved. Lots of really positive reception. I think I've spoken to 40 different businesses so far, and I haven't had anyone really going, no, that's a bad idea. So that's a great start. The next step really is then obviously encouraging people to get on. I think we've got 15 on so far. So really now just getting the next group on. So I'll be doing another kind of round of walking around the triangle and so on, probably over the next week or so. And yeah, after that, the actual area of Palace app isn't just the triangle. It's parts of Gypsy Hill, Penge, Upper Sydenham, and kind of parts of Dulwich as well. So really what we're trying to do is build up an audience on the app of, let's say, 10,000 people plus, 10,000 downloads plus. At that point, that makes it really significant for the businesses and for, I guess, the information that's going to be up there. And then overall, hopefully it becomes something that is really well used. And at that point, and hopefully, also residents will look at it and say, when we put up a survey, or when we put up, or when we receive kind of information back from you in terms of local reports, excuse me, we can take all of that on and also represent that back to various people like councillors and so on. So if there is an issue like traffic, then this can be a conduit to kind of making those voices heard. And we wouldn't be doing that just as us. That's obviously, there are lots of great people out there in the community already that are kind of part of this, and kind of what I'm hoping is that Palace app can be as much of a vehicle for them and a way of working as it is for residents to use it as well. Mm-hmm.
And what about so like for maybe older population, or like tech afraid, tech fearful population? Can you see this influencing the way they can interact with Crystal Palace and the area?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. Obviously, at the moment, it's going to be limited to people that can use the app. But over time, we're hoping to introduce features that will help people that I guess are digitally excluded. One of the kind of people I've been talking to is actually Casper Kennedale, who's kind of obviously runs Clear Community Web. And yeah, it's just looking at ways that we can increase support for that. Because we're at such an early stage, I think we're starting here and then trying to work outwards and try and work out how we can bring as many people on board as possible.
Mm-hmm. Always got to start somewhere.
Great.
Great. And so if businesses wanted to sign up but they weren't quite sure, like do you have your website, or where they can see more information?
Yeah, so the website is at palaceapp.io. And there's a website up there. It's got a lot of information about kind of what we're doing. There's kind of an FAQ on there for residents and businesses. But more importantly, there's a link for businesses where they can literally go on. It doesn't need me to kind of help them sign up. They can literally go on, do their own kind of subscription process, get onto the kind of dashboard themselves, upload their business profile, their kind of offers. We also do quite a cool thing for businesses where they can actually set a location for their offers. So if someone walks through a certain location, then the offer's triggered. so they can set that kind of thing as well. And yeah, at the moment, it's just letting people know about it, which is why I'm on the library lunch. And thank you for having me, and getting the word out that it's up, available, and hopefully people start using it.
We actually have a question from Shane Tom, I believe. It is, can community groups advertise their upcoming events on the app?
They can do. Thanks, Shane. Yeah, so we have an events section on the app, and you can go on, log on, sign up as a community group, and then register your events. And at the moment, you can do event by event. But we're just literally, we're still in development. This isn't a finished product. So we're actually doing uploading a feature which will give you the ability to do repeat events shortly. So if you have a regular schedule, then you'll be able to upload that really easily as well. So yeah, please do sign up. And again, if you want to drop me a line and work out how else we can work with community groups better, then please do, and happy to give you a tour.
Wonderful. I hope that answered your question, Shane. I'm sure it did. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the app, Marcus? Or
I guess, yeah, just from our point of view, is just it's been a long road. It's cost, obviously, to bring something like this to fruition, a fair amount to get to this point. And so really, I guess the proof is in the pudding at the moment as to how people will engage with it. So, if you feel that this is something, you're passionate about, making sure that we have our own kind of hub for Crystal Palace, then please do get on board. It'd be hugely helpful to making this get off the ground for us. And as we kind of evolve, we're also talking to other components of the community, so obviously the council and so on, as to how they can use it. Getting the engagement at this level will make it successful, and hopefully put us all as a community in a better place to make it all work.
Amazing. I'm sure that everyone watching, if they're here, then they're going to be downloading the app now. I just have as well. Right. Thank you, Marco.
Great. I appreciate it.
Can't wait to see what benefits it will have for the community as well. I'm excited to start using it and use those offers. Right, so let me tell you guys about some things going on. Tomorrow night, Victorian Women in Bed is live at 7:30 on this channel, the Upper Norwood Library Hub's Facebook. If you want to be featured in our library lunch show, please contact Galina.Rin at unlt.org. It's the best way to get involved if you want to be like Marcus and you want to tell us and the community about the projects you have going on, your business, or just want to have a chat about Crystal Palace, then please email us. We also have the All Alone Together project happening at the library at the moment. It's a lockdown project funded by the Arts Council. So if you want to get involved with that, there's a survey to fill out on the Library Hub's website, which please do. It's always good to get to know how people have experienced these past few months. Also, if you have any tech issues, the Clear Community Web is here to help. There's a phone number, which is 07523 646 277, or the email, which is info@clearcommunityweb.co.uk. So they're there to help you if you're at home and you're trying to figure out how to maybe use Zoom, all of these kind of new technologies that we've had to start using during lockdown. And we also have our campaign. I believe you should be able to see it on your screen for donations. Yeah, so you can text to donate, which is UNLH 003 to 70201, and that's for £1, and then it can keep going. So thank you guys, and thank you for joining us. Thank you again, Marcus, for everything that you've done with the Palace app. The future is here and it's exciting. And see you guys all tomorrow, I guess. Cool.